Ladies and gentlemen, button pushers and wrench turners, welcome to another episode of Something's Broken. My name's Taylor Goodyear, and I own TG CNC Service out of Wisconsin. I have been away for a couple of weeks. I haven't had the opportunity to record the 2 weeks ago, so I'm taking care of that now. So we got a lot of shit to cram in here, but we're gonna get it all covered. I was out of the country taking care of some business shit last week. That went rather well, so it's not anything directly related to the company, but could possibly turn into that. So won't go into details, but that's why I'm a little late on doing this. Not that really anybody cares, but um, just kind of a little explanation. But the week before I left, we had some things go on that week. We had a Z-axis ball screw. I'm trying to remember. There's so much. Bear with me. There's so much I've got to try to remember. There's been so much shit that we've done between me and my contractor. Anyways, we had a Z-axis ball screw. We replaced on a Rami lathe. Got that knocked out. Unfortunately, when we were doing that at the same customer, they happened to crash an NL3000 just next to the machine that we were working on. So they asked me to go over and take a look at it, and the brake was completely sheared. I don't know how. I've never seen anything like it on the X-axis ball screw. Pulled the motor off. I could barely get the coupling off, the mechanical coupling off the ball screw end. I have no idea what the fuck happened. We had to get some shit ordered, so that machine stayed down for a while until they got the parts in. So I had the contractor finish up the ball screw. He did a very good job cleaning, stretching the ball screw. Everything was great. We had to stretch it just a little bit more when we checked backlash, but we got it like damn near zero with zero backlash. So I was happy about that. Checked in on the machine yesterday. Customer's happy. No issues. So then we had another customer. Both the contractor and I were both on site for two different machines. He took care of a weight cover replacement on a Doosan. I think he was doing the tailstock front weight cover replacement. The customer just didn't have time to do it themselves, so they asked us to come in and do it. While he was doing that, I was trying to do some troubleshooting on a B-axis on a Kia HX600, I think it is. The customer kind of explained that, and I'm probably gonna butcher this a little bit, but from what I understand, is whenever they turn the machine off and they turn it back on and they try to rehome the B-axis, the deacceleration switch, the counter, the grid shift works off the decel switch. Somehow, the B-axis home position is not repeating from the grid shift of the deacceleration switch. So I pulled the switch out, cleaned it. There was a lot of oil on it, but it was still working just fine. No issues there. I checked it several times, and almost every time that I shut the machine off and turn it back on and try to rehome it, it somehow fucked up and lost positioning somehow. I don't know how. The only thing that I could think of is we have a mechanical issue inside of the table. Check backlash. Backlash was horrible. Backlash was like 40 microns. And I was like, oh boy, okay, that right there shows me we have a lot of mechanical backlash inside the table. And the only way to figure that out is to disassemble the table. I was looking at the parts list, and they have almost 4 different points of contact in B-axis rotation with gears. You got the motor, then they had the rotating gear on the motor. That rotated another set of gears. That rotated a worm shaft and that worm shaft is what rotated the planetary gear on the actual B-axis table. So we have four potential points of failure on contact of rotation for the B-axis. And I can only imagine that some of those have at least a worm gear shaft has some bearings on it. Bearings could be shot, and we're getting a lot of play in the worm gear shaft. Very good possibility. Again, won't know unless we tear the whole fucking thing apart and actually look at it and see what's going on. So, recommended that to the customer, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna keep trying to run it for as long as we can, but we'll hang on to your advice." And I was like, "There's really nothing else I can really do." I corrected their backlash with the parameters, and that from there, that's really all I could do. What I did notice also that kind of leads me towards a mechanical issue as well too. On the pulse handle, if I go one click in the 10th, so 10th pulse, 1x, whatever, if I go one and then I go backwards, I don't get repeatability on that. The repeatability should be 1/10, right? No, I get over like 10 microns of basically slop back and forth, just one click. And then trying to get the table to catch up with the clicks or backlash, whatever, is considerably pretty high in my opinion. So that's what leads me more towards mechanical issue. Could be where in the planetary gear, most planetary gears are made out of bronze or brass or whatever, and they like to wear. And when you crash them, they sometimes fuck up everything else that is attached to them. So, yeah, we'll go from there. The customer's still able to run it, is what it is. So, that finished up that week. Moving on to this past week, I came back Wednesday. And boy, did I come back to a shit show. I had 6 missed calls. I had 3 new customers. I had 3 screaming customers. So I was like, oh boy, what the fuck? And then I have a big job in Virginia that I was supposed to leave Thursday. So as soon as I got back into the States Wednesday, I was supposed to drive Thursday all the way to Virginia to start a 2-week long job. That got pushed back, thank fuck. So that allowed me to basically run rampant on the customers that I could take care of back here in Wisconsin. So we'll go over that a little bit. Contractor had a job at the beginning of the week. Me being gone, I gave him the job instead. So customer had a V80 vertical lathe. The chip conveyor somehow got fucked up, and they pulled the chip conveyor, and they wanted my contractor to come on site and see if he could weld. He's a very good welder, very good fabricator. So they asked if I could send him in. Sent him in. He got a hold of me, and he's like, "Dude, there's no fixing this. This thing's fucked." I was like, "Okay, whatever. That's your judgment. Hey, man, I'm not gonna question you. You know what you're doing." Just let the customer know, and they'll have to, find an alternative, buy a new chip conveyor or whatever. While he was there was a FANUC issue on another machine that I had him look at. Being out of the States, my service was a little sketchy, so me and him talking about the job back and forth, and helping him over the phone, try to troubleshoot and stuff. It just got to a point where it's just like, all right, man, I without me actually being in front of the machine right now, there's a bunch of shit that I can check, but you're not going to know how to get to those screens. My contractor is still kind of green when it comes to the control side of machines, so there's still some training that we got to do there, but we just haven't had the time to do it. So I told him to pass it off to FANUC, let the customer know they got to bring FANUC in, and I apologize, but the customer understood. They had no issues with it. So Thursday, just looking at my list here. So I had one customer call in Whitewater. They had a Mazak that had an alarm. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to them fast enough, so they called Mazak in. But there was a slight possibility that my contractor was going to go out there next week. Um, but they already had somebody come in, so I was like, okay, well, easy peasy. Thursday, I had a new customer that I really wanted to get to, and I had to stop at another customer and quote out a 7 machine pack up to be rigged out and be auctioned off. So stopped there, wrote up the quote, got all the quote information, wrote that quote up later on in the day. But I was able to get to the new customer that hit me up. They had a Daewoo that was having some drive boot issues, like pretty much the power supply and everything down the line would not boot up. So I was able to get out there and I pulled the front board of the power supply out, and the 5 amp fuse that's on there supplies the 240 to the other drives down the line, from what I understand. And they blew that. So we found a replacement fuse in another machine. This customer wanted me to do that. I don't like doing that because what if that blows? Now you got 2 machines down. But they that's what they wanted me to do because they had no other options. So I pulled that fuse out, put it in there. As soon as I turned the machine on, boom, popped the fuse. I was like, ah, fuck, man. This is what I didn't want to happen. I don't like doing that. So they were like, that's fine. We're okay. We just want to know what the next steps are. So I got them quotes, or at least part numbers, for replacement fuses for the board. I was like, I'll tell you what, you get the fuses. Let me know when you get the fuses in. I'll send my contractor out here, and we'll do some more troubleshooting. We'll disconnect all of the drive units down the line and just basically isolate the power supply. We'll put a fuse in. We'll turn the machine on. If it blows again, then we know it's the power supply. Like, okay, that's fine. That works. So that we're kind of waiting on that. Well, while I was there, they have like 2 or 3 other machines that have issues, and they're asking me if I can work on them. I was like, yeah, I can work on them, but I can't this month. Like, entire month of June is booked. I'm deeply sorry. They're like, that's fine. When you get time, none of these issues are dire needs, but we want to have it done eventually. I was like, okay, perfect. We can figure out a schedule later down the line, and we can get in here and get these issues taken care of for you. So I think we solidified that customer. Hopefully, if we fix the Daewoo that we were originally there for, then I would say we pretty much solidified that customer, which is good. That's what we want. We want to grow. So in order to grow, we need more customers. We need to stay more busy. So good. Very good there. When I was done with that customer, I had to go to another customer. They were having an issue with that the Kia HX 600 that I was talking about, because I pulled the switch out. They thought since I pulled the switch out that they couldn't get it to rehome again. Like, they thought that was something that I did wrong. But I tried to explain to them how to set grid shift again, and they said they still couldn't get it. So they asked me to come out there. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll come out there. So I get out there, and I guess one of the operators got it to work. So I was like, okay, cool. But while I was there, they had a Hyundai lathe that I just replaced seals on like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. And it was throwing basically turret overload alarms. So what the fuck? And we're sitting there, and we could index the thing manually, no issues. The customer wrote a program before I showed up to, basically auto rotate the turret, and it would run the program no problem. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so as soon as we start running apart, the first index, it alarms out. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. A little weird. So then we do manual rotation again. Boom, it fucking bombs out. I was like, okay, alright, well, we're getting all over the place. So I put a trace on the output and input for the solenoid valve and the input and output for the clamp, unclamp switch in the back. Those were matching up just fine. No issues on the inputs and outputs. Now, that's not to say that we possibly have an issue with the solenoid, but the timing, the repeatability of the timing between the output to unclamp to the timing of the input of unclamp, we're staying consistent. So that made me feel like, okay, I don't think it's a clamping issue or unclamping issue. And even then, if it was an unclamping issue and it was a switch issue, the machine needs the input of the unclamp before it fires an output to rotate. Well, the alarming is happening on the rotation. So that pointed me towards, okay, maybe there is really a mechanical bind. So we did some more fucking around with it. Finally, it bombed out again, and then the customer's like, listen to this as it rotates, and it just sounds horrible, like grindy as it's rotating. I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. I was like, all right, we got a mechanical bind in that. I was like, the only way to figure out what it is, we got to tear it all apart. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have the time to tear it apart right now. I was like, you're gonna have to get somebody else in here. I apologize. They're like, no, that's fine. I mean, we understand. We just wanted some some feedback on what it could possibly be. So I let the customer know that gonna have to disassemble it. What I've come to find out, this all started last Tuesday, May 20th or something like that. I was like, okay. And they're like, we haven't been able to get it to run right since May 20th or Tuesday night. I was like, okay. Did anybody crash it? Anybody report crashing it? Anything like that? And they're like, well, hold on. So the operator goes and pulls up this sheet. Sure enough, they ripped 3 parts out of the chuck that Tuesday. And I was like, ah, okay. We definitely have something wrong then. That, pulled a part out or crashed or whatever. And that's what the cause of what's going on. So I was like, okay, it had nothing to do with me tearing the fucker apart and putting it back together, which is always my first thing. Is like, oh, did I fuck something up taking this apart, putting it back together? That's always the first thing that comes to my mind when I come back to a repeat machine. It's like, okay, I just had this thing apart and now it's fucking up. But the thing ran for 2 months and had no issues, and now all of a sudden it has issues, and there is, a report of part pull out or crashes. So I was like, okay, all right, well, that makes me feel better. So customer's gonna have to get somebody in there to tear it apart. That's just not gonna be me, unfortunately. My contractor's booked, so I can't send him in there either. So it is what it is. Sometimes it's like that. I hate that. Don't get me wrong. I hate turning work away. It's the worst fucking feeling in the world. And I am working on trying to get to a point where I don't have to turn work away anymore. I can take on anything and everything that comes in, but I just don't have the manpower to do it yet. And with me taking all of these out-of-state jobs, does not leave me, with the time home to keep up with it all. And that's a risk that I take when I take out-of-state jobs. Financially, I have to take those out-of-state jobs for obvious reasons. That's where things are a little pricey, and it's worth it. So taking those out-of-state jobs is far worth it, and I still take the risk of losing potential customers. And except my religious customers, like they understand if I'm out of town, they that's fine. We'll call you next time. Beautiful. Please call me next time. I will be available next time. At least I hope I'm available next time. And if I'm not available next time, they'll be like, okay, we understand. We'll call you next time. Those are the customers that I really try to do my best for, honestly, because those are repeat customers that trust me, and they stay with me, and they're loyal customers, and those are the ones that I really want to help the most. I want to help all my customers. Don't get me wrong, but the sometimes you'll get customers that you can't show up for, and then they stop calling, and it's like, okay, well, I tried. I'm sorry. Like, I'm only one guy, man. I'm trying to try to keep up with everything, and it's tough, man. It's tough. So, okay, NL 3000. I got all the brake stuff put in, and I had a meeting with a new customer that did a walkthrough at their place before I went and worked on the NL 3000 and got that back together. I did a walkthrough with a new customer. They have a lot of mechanical lays. They have some potential work that needs to be done. Nothing, right now, which I try to explain to him, like, dude, I'm booked all June. I'm sorry, I can't get in here anytime soon. He's like, that's fine. Like, we can schedule this out. It's like, all right, perfect. So that might end up being something positive as well too. So, then I went to the NL 3000. I got oh man, what a fuckery getting the brake in. I mean, the brake that we ordered, I had to change a bunch of shit over. I had to machine some shit to get it to work. I had to fucking press the taper fitting out. I mean, it was a fucking shit show, man. But I got it all to work properly, and securely, without having to wait for more parts. So that was positive. Got everything put in. Started checking the turret. Turret's fucked. So I had to do a turret alignment. Got the turret aligned. And then I started checking backlash and following errors. And holy shit. That's all I could say. I did correct backlash. Backlash was like 20 microns. I had to, adjust that with the parameters. But again, in this explanation of like following error, I guess, or I don't know what the technical name of it is, but when you do one click one way and one click the other way, and then how many clicks it takes before the indicator keeps up with the actual rotation of the ball screw, it was not good. Not good at all. I let the customer know, I was like, listen, there's really not much I can do with this. This is a mechanical breakdown of either the ball nut or the support bearings, the thrust bearings. There's nothing I can do with this. I can correct backlash. Backlash can only do so much, but when you have that much slop in the following error, there's nothing I can do. We have to start replacing shit. So I let them know. I was like, hey, listen, you guys can try to run it. I have it relatively straight, but I can't guarantee accuracy on this thing, and I can't guarantee repeatability because of the motion of the x-axis. And they're like, okay, it's fine. We will try to run it and see what happens. It's like, okay. So they know worst case scenario. It is what it is. It's. Ooh, that was a bad crash. It really was. I'm surprised that ball screw was intact the way it was. It's still not good. So we'll see. We'll see in the future what they decide to do. I probably won't be home to do it. So they'll probably have to get the OEM in to do it, unfortunately, unless I can get somebody on my side to come in and do it. So we'll see. Okay. Next 2 weeks, I am in Virginia doing a complete B-axis table install. So I removed this table, oh boy, like 3 months ago. Customer sent it out to Indianapolis or something like that to be rebuilt, and it's been rebuilt. It's back on site, and now they want me to come down there and put the table back in. And not only that, they want me to rebuild the ATC arm as well too. So I gotta disassemble all that. So I think I'll be there for at least 2 weeks, easily 2 weeks. It's a big fucking machine. So I'll be knocking that out, and then as soon as I come back, I have to turn around and go to Minnesota to one of my customers to do a PM on a NHX 10,000. And then directly after that, I will be doing a ball screw on another big machine that's up there. That's not a Mori. So we'll that'll be another 2 weeks. So that's pretty much my June right there, which is good. Busy right now. We're in a wave. We're almost at the top of the wave, which is really good. But waves crash. So um, we would like to keep the wave up there and keep riding the wave up there for the rest of the year. There's a couple of big jobs that I've quoted out. Don't know what's going to happen. I haven't heard anything on those big jobs. There's one really big job that I quoted out that is expected to start in August, supposedly, but I haven't heard anything back from the customer, so I don't know if they went with somebody else or whatever, but it is what it is. The only thing I think of is their only option is to go to the OEM, and if they go to the OEM, that's 3 different OEMs they have to call in, and as opposed to me, I'm I quoted all 4 machines. So, one guy you got to call for 4 machines, but then, if you don't want to roll with me, you're going to be paying more money, and you're going to have 3 more companies that you have to call in. So, whatever. It is what it is. I quoted it out, and we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. All right. So, I won't see you guys for 2 weeks. Probably. Anyways, motivation time. Cutting weight. So June is my weight cut month that I decided to do. And I just want to kind of talk about my approach into cutting. If nobody knows, what I mean by cutting weight, dropping some fat, at least we hope, and not muscling down, so our body's not using muscle for fuel. It's gonna attack our fat stores. So my approach is trying not to do a severe calorie deficit, more so doing kind of like a medium calorie deficit. And what I mean by that, so if I was eating 3,500 calories, a medium calorie deficit, in my opinion, would be 2,700 calories. Some people might think that's a little too steep, depending on how you're looking at it. But I kind of do I kind of do an aggressive cut, but I stay up on my protein intake. So 200 grams of protein a day. I more than likely I'll hit that, and as long as I get the protein in and my calorie deficit is logical and I kick cardio up a little bit, I should be able to lose 10 pounds in a month. That's my projected, but we'll see. But dedication, man, discipline. This is where your discipline is tested more than anything when it comes to fitness, is weight cutting. Some people get discouraged, especially when they step on a scale and they don't see it move for 2 weeks. That can get discouraging. And if that's the case, if you haven't, in my opinion, if you haven't lost 3 pounds in a week, doing a medium cut like I just explained, you're not cutting enough. Your calorie deficit is not enough. If you lost 5 pounds in a week, in my opinion, I think there might be a very good possibility that your body is muscling down. So you don't want to do that. You want to preserve your muscle, not grow muscle. We're not trying to grow during this month. The protein intake is to sustain the muscle that I have and not build it. So I won't be hitting heavy weights. I'll just be hitting 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, something like that, on my exercises, and not really going hard. I just want to sustain my muscle. I'm not trying to grow it because I'm in a cut. So go from there. So discipline, man. This is where you're going to be tested. And if you are serious about weight cutting, it can be a great tool to lose fat relatively quick, and then you can go right back into maintenance calories or surplus and start building that muscle. So we'll see what happens. I won't really update you guys on it. I mean, this is a CNC repair podcast, but I just want to kind of talk about the discipline that it's going to be tested. So stay disciplined, stay in it, and if you're doing it right, it will work. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I know this was kind of a long one. I apologize. But I will tune in with you guys in 2 weeks probably. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to me blabble about fucking repairing machines and shit and weight loss and all that shit. Irrelevant stuff. But this is fun for me, as you guys know. So I appreciate it, guys. My name's Taylor Goodyear, and I own TG CNC Service out of Wisconsin, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll see you guys.